Folks, thanks for joining us today. My name's John Dubas with Premier Marketing. We'll be spending the next 50 to 60 minutes speaking of a blocking and tackling issue, in a manner of speaking. And that is sometimes we get wrapped up in what's the latest, what's the greatest, how can we reach out and really improve ourselves and our operations and look to the shiny new toy that's hanging in the closet. What we're looking to do here today is revisit one of the means that are available to anybody in sales, particularly, but in any way of life, as to how do you best meet individuals that are in the market for what we're looking to offer. And so, as an old time Medicare Advantage, Medicare Plus choice guy, I have a hard time sometimes with superlatives. Best. What is best? Well, what is best for me may not be best for you, but some of the basics ring true across the board. And so what we're looking to do today is speak to and revisit, in many circumstances, one of the best ways to meet qualified prospects, and that is through a referral process. We'll go through some specifics and some details and make certain that, well, is there anything new? Is there a magic bullet here? For some, there may not be, but hearing some things in a different fashion and revisiting some of the things that may have been a key indicator in our success in the past, so well done that we no longer do it. This gives us an opportunity and go back and revisit some of those things and perhaps glean an additional idea or two as to how we can multiply the loaves and fishes, in a manner of speaking, through a simple series of questions. Today's presentation is being recorded and will be made available on our website at premiersmi.com and on our YouTube channel as well. But we give you an opportunity as well to make certain that we answer questions that you have, that we maximize the value of the time that you spend with us here today. So in the software system, you see a section for both questions and chat. We ask that you put your questions in the questions box. We find that we do normally cover all questions through the course of the presentation, but we want to make certain that we address any inquiries that you have directly as well, and we fully intend to do so. And part of what we want to do for the folks that are on the line, I recognize many people, there are some folks I don't. Let's start with a little bit of level set as to who Premier Marketing is. We're a national marketing organization founded in 1968 that's part of the Integrity Marketing Platform with offices across the country. We're licensed in all 50 states. And we act as an insurance wholesaler working through independent insurance agents such as yourselves, through contracts that are at the highest possible commission levels, with recruiting contracts available to those who qualify. And we do so through a full portfolio of products. And this is one of the things I think that starts out the discussion of referrals. There are many programs that are out there that are available. Some agents will add additional programs and speak to them directly. Some will create a referral relationship with folks that operate in areas in which they do not. And so we look to present a portfolio of products that are of great interest to the Medicare population, and that includes the Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, and prescription drug programs. But we realize that there are some agents out there that don't want to do an annual certification or deal with some of the regulations we have in parts of the Medicare world. That is the beginning of the opportunity for folks to have a referral organization sort of initiative that gives you an opportunity to work with other folks in our business. And that includes folks that may not be as active in some of the other areas of our portfolio, such as life insurance and annuities, final expense life insurance and pre-need plans, long and short-term care programs, disability income plans, and those ancillary benefits such as dental, vision, hearing, critical illness, cancer, hospital indemnity, accident, and telehealth. Sometimes it's easier to bring in one product than another, but how are we handling the entire need structure of our prospects and clients? Are we doing so directly through a portfolio such as this, or are we establishing a referral system that can be symbiotic in our relationship with other folks in our business. When we look at the Medicare programs themselves, we're in the midst now, kicking off certification for 2023. And depending upon how you handle that, well, that gives us an opportunity to look at these national carriers and many of the strong regionals in your area that can make a difference for you. That can create a referable situation in the fact that you will run across folks that are quite happy with one plan and they want to refer other folks to you as long as you have that particular contract for that particular program. So it gives us a different idea as to how we look at the entire package of Medicare Advantage programs that are out there and how we choose to approach the market. And that philosophy carries over into prescription drug programs, where you'll see the majority of these are all part of a contract that you have with a Medicare Advantage carrier. Notable exception, Mutual of Omaha. It's their only foray into this area. It's a separate part of a contract, so you can have parts of Mutual of Omaha with multiple individuals. On this list, however, we see Clever RX, which is actually not a sanctioned prescription drug plan. That sounded bad. Sanctioned a lot of times means, oh, gee, got compliance issues. I don't mean it in that fashion. It's a discount program. It's not one of the prescription drug plans, the Part D programs. However, this gives us an opportunity as well, because some of the folks that are active in the Medicare Advantage arena complete the certifications for PDP, may not pursue that area as stringently or as with as much enthusiasm as they do some of the other areas. But we see in many cases a referable situation with agents that are doing Medicare supplements that don't want to deal with a certification process for the drug programs, and they don't necessarily want to refer to anybody that's going to touch their other business. So it gives us an opportunity in that area because our Medicare supplement portfolio is very strong. We have programs that are set in place to help you be successful in this space. And part of how this all works for you is, are you approaching the entire Medicare market? Are you specializing in one area or another? How does that work for you? So we want to make certain that in the basic programs that you have for the Medicare population, that we're looking at it not just as, do I need that contract? It's, do I want to work that section of the Medicare world as well? And how do I approach people that perhaps aren't working that area and make it successful for all involved? That also carries over into the ancillary products. You'll see the national leaders in each of these categories that are there for you. This does create a simple foray into some additional programs to offer to satisfy the needs of our prospects and clients. It gives us additional marketing opportunities in an area that is not as heavily regulated as some of the base medical programs that we deal with. And of course, it does create that additional means of growing the revenue stream for our agency. This is an area too that if you work as a recruiting organization, these are products that are very simple to add to a portfolio and add value as well. So it is an opportunity to grow in that fashion as well. When we look at the Medicare market overall, of course, we see the aging of the baby boomers, the silver tsunami, one every 10 seconds, 10,000 plus a day, all well and true on a near exponential growth into the Medicare market. However, we're seeing that a number of individuals are delaying accessing Medicare in its entirety when they become first eligible. This creates one of our first referable situations because we tend to hang out with, associate with people that are much like us, and folks that are in this situation may well know other people that are doing the same thing, and our ability to address needs for these people, for whatever reason they're not accessing benefits entirely when they're first eligible, they'll know other folks that do. And they will know, of course, other folks that have taken a different path and are fully immersed in the Medicare arena. And so this gives us another way of asking for help. It also is a way for us to access a section of the Medicare market that is a little more difficult to locate, and that's the folks that are under the age of 65 accessing Medicare benefits because of a disability. It's a fairly sizable portion of the population, over an eighth of it. Um, Once you reach an individual that becomes your client or your prospect that falls in this category, they know other people like them as well. And they may know also the folks that are helping them with their situation. What do you mean by that? Well, if they're disabled, who are they accessing that delivers care? Is it an ongoing type of situation? Are they in support groups? It's a different type of referral. But in each of the areas, we have an opportunity to address the folks that are making different choices for their Medicare coverage. As you think about it, I mean, they can decline Part B if they choose to do so. For most folks, that's not necessarily a good idea. Those with creditable coverage or group coverage or whatever else, it may well be. That creates an additional referable situation. If they're part of a group, you do group insurance, there you go. If you don't, that may be something that you can refer out as well. However, many of these folks will, well, I'll self-insure for the medical costs because, hey, like they say on one of the multitude of commercials on television right now, well, we got Medicare, we don't need anything else. You notice those commercials don't speak many times of just Part D coverage. It can be a great opener for different discussions, offering the different types of reviews that help people identify what may be their best choice, superlative to a degree there, for their coverages there. It is also one of the things that can differentiate ourselves from other people that are working in a retail marketing opportunity, because many of those folks will speak to and jump to MAPD programs right away. Great choice for many people, not the best choice for some. So what do? We review their prescription coverage and ask for help in locating people that are in a similar situation and offer that same review. Some folks, of course, will take the avenue of covering a shortfall in Medicare coverage through the standardized, modernized Medicare policies, the Medicare supplement programs. And because of some of the tools that are out there that you have at your disposal, you can then offer a complimentary Medicare supplement review to individuals across the board that are in that same circumstance. So as you offer a review to a prospect on their Medicare supplement programs, and you utilize some of the software systems that are out there, our Medicare Center program, to help with identifying programs that may be their best choice in this area, that opens up another referral channel, as does the folks that are looking at bundling their services and accessing Medicare through the Medicare Advantage programs, the Part C programs. This is an area where many of the folks, because of some of the ancillary benefits there, they may associate with people they haven't known before by, oh boy, I'm going to the health club. These are some of the people that are accessing it the same way. Ooh, gee, then I can perhaps work through that organization and do presentations as well, refer you to the site that is delivering that, because they will help upon occasion. It gives us then the opportunity to work in the different areas of choice and make it a simple referable situation simply by asking the question. And when we look at the choices that are made by folks that are becoming, well, they're accessing Medicare benefits for the first time. I'm not saying just the T65s, the other people that are accessing it before. We've seen historically, deft research has told us that it's been a pretty even split. And they've told us that that's changed a little bit here in the last couple, 2-3 years for one reason or another. But we're looking then at folks that may well be shopping beforehand or looking for additional means to get information. So are we adept at some of the electronic means of reaching out into the public, making ourselves referable in that situation and non-threatening by having microsites, our own website, whatever it is that help people shop? Different surveys that are out there now by many of these research organizations are telling us that the folks that are aging into Medicare are doing a lot of research on their own before they reach out to anybody else to help them. Are we setting ourselves up for folks in each of these categories that can make a difference? And if we think about it, we look at the original Medicare only piece, that 17% on this older survey. Well, that includes, the self-insured. It includes people that are dual beneficiaries, but it also includes people that may be accessing benefits through the VA. If that's the case, are they accessing benefits there and know other people that are out of that same situation? I'd wager a dime or two that they have or are. And it may be an opportunity then as well to present to groups that are accessing care in that fashion. Same thing with folks that have union or retiree coverage. It can open an entirely different market based on some of the choices that they have for their current coverages. It's also a piece where we can then be a deliverer of benefits for the population that we're discussing things with. Plain and simple, everything has its own language now. It seems acronyms are all over the place. And if you look at this particular piece taken off the CMS website not too terribly long ago, this is an acronym guide that helps us communicate properly and deliver upon a resource for our prospects and clients that are becoming more adept online of looking things up. Say, hey, you have a question on some of this? Obviously, I want to be your source of information. You can talk to me, but here's an acronym guide provided to us by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Finally, danced past that acronym, didn't I? A list of 4,420 of them. What? My goodness. It also reminds us that as we present, we need to either minimize the use of acronyms, or as we go through and utilize those magical letters, are we defining what that means? And that can make a huge difference for us and set us apart from some of our competition that may not be communicating as thoroughly or properly. When we look at folks that are engaged in different election periods within the Medicare enrollment cycle, we see people in different areas that give us an opportunity to ask questions that are pertinent to a situation. So if we're working with folks during the annual election period, it's fairly simple to ask, well, who else do you know that really needs to evaluate some of the cost of the medications they're taking? And they'll look at you and go, well, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a pharmacist, nor do I play one on television, but we have systems that can utilize algorithms that will tell you that this may well be the most cost-effective program for you. And we can do this for your family and friends. A great way of utilizing different sections of the enrollment calendar based on that particular time of year, and find out how do we phrase a question to help people realize that we are out there to help them and the people that they know. Got a ton of SEPs out there. The majority of people that are on Medicare will qualify for one SEP or another. It's a question then of, is it in their best interest to do so? But in each of those categories, it then once again identifies a subgroup of individuals who need our help. Because, hey, we hang out with people that are pretty much like us. I live in the Dallas, Texas suburb north of Dallas. I don't hang out with Mark Cuban. Ross Perot Jr. is not on my speed dial. I don't know if you really even call speed dials anymore. But we tend to hang out with people that are kind of like us. So similar situations give us the means to identify a reason for others to tell us about other people that are in similar situations. And you got a whole list of them here. And that can be further declined by the special election periods, because certain states will encounter a circumstance brought about by weather, all the other things that we chat about in a warm-up anyway. It gives us then an idea as to, well, who else do you know in the area that may well be similarly affected? So different reasons for giving us additional information. And it's really pertinent because, well, Kaiser Family Foundation tells us that folks aren't doing an annual review. and they'll know other people that probably aren't as well. This gives us the opportunity to identify folks year round. I mentioned before, here we are at the end of June. A lot of hubbubaloo is being made of the certifications for 2023. I don't know about you, I'm not independently wealthy at this point in time in my life. I still have to pay bills through the rest of the year. We got 1 day left for a 7/1 effective if we needed to with different products in the Medicare world. You're looking at 8/1, 9/1, 10/1, 11/1, 12/1. Even tomorrow, we have 5 more effective dates to address the challenges people have now. What does this mean for us? Well, there are people in different categories that are particularly affected by a non-examination, if you want to put it that way, on their current coverages. And they too know people in similar circumstances where they're particularly vulnerable, may qualify for multiple special election periods, and give us an opportunity to address those individuals or groups of those individuals. And it makes it a key reason for us to be very good about how we communicate and how people then can understand the programs that are available to them. It gives the folks we visit with then a reason to tell people about you, to refer people, because you're communicating well, you're rendering a service of value, and they'll recognize it and aid in that process. It's really important for us too to make certain that if we are targeting certain segments of the population as part of our current marketing plan, how are we addressing the needs of that particular subset, that particular subgroup of Medicare beneficiaries? It gives us then an idea as to how we approach folks for a referable. The old who else do you know? Great opening line, but how do you stretch it and further define who else do you know that's having some challenges with the cost of their medications? Who else do you know who's dealing with an increase in the premiums of their Medicare supplement plans? Whatever the circumstance is for the folks we're visiting with, it gives us then that opportunity to directly address that need. Right now, we're rolling into July. There are a lot of folks here as we pass the midpoint of the year already. Well, they may have reached that coverage gap. That's not a coverage gap. The time within their plans in which they have a larger financial responsibility. These are the folks that make great prospects for their not only their own business, but for others that are in a similar situation. And it doesn't matter if they're accessing their Medicare prescription drug coverage through a Medicare Advantage plan or through a standalone drug program. It gives us that opening point of discussion and another reason to be directed to other folks within the community. Utilizing some of the tools that are out there by the government can make a big difference as well, because, well, folks that really need to do so aren't doing so. And so it gives us another way of approaching people and saying, here's how we get some of this information. Here's where I'm receiving this information. Here's how we can help other people that are in a situation such as you are. It's also a great way to close too. You know, you got almost a third party here, the great big brother that's helping us with these evaluations and utilizing those tools. A nice thing that rolled out not too terribly large a number of years ago is, of course, the availability of a app on the internet, the joys of the interwebs, that some folks can download upon their phone. How is this pertinent to the discussion right here now, John? Well, I'll guarantee you there's a whole lot of folks that aren't using it a lot, but there are folks that are going to have their cell phone right on the table with you as you have a discussion. Or if you're doing a Zoom call or whatever it happens to be, and their phone rings, well, that is an opening for folks to say, hey, by the way, did you know there's a tool out there that can help you basically with your phone to see how different coverages are available? This also then opens up a door for the folks that are more technically adept. And then, well, it predicates an electronic introduction in many circumstances, but it is also then that portion of the population that you're going to do business with in a little different fashion. We'll discuss in just a second. That can really increase the number of hours in the day for you. Yeah, John, there's 24 hours in the day, plain and simple. It's a question as to what is the best way of spending those those times that are available to us. And if we're setting up some things on an electronic basis, well, it can make a big difference for us. This is a really cool tool for us to use in many of our presentations, what Medicare doesn't cover, a general discussion, because everybody on Medicare gets a copy of the Medicare and You handbook, either snail mail, the old term, and pardon me, for the United States Postal Service, or they're delivering upon it in a electronic fashion. You deal with people during the annual election period, you'll run into the folks that are going to haul this out. And it is a great opener for you to walk through the different reasons why they should look at their entire situation and then make decisions based on what is best for them. And you have a third party piece telling you, here's how it works. It's also a great way for us to open up that discussion once again for group presentations. We can do a talk then with, hey, this is great. You are really adept at knowing what is covered and what is not. Are there organizations you work with that perhaps have people that aren't as informed as you are? Because we do Medicare 101 presentations and we address groups. So for some folks that are comfortable presenting in a group, obviously it's a great way of stepping out and doing it, but it's also a way then for us to expand the referral process beyond individuals, simply by referencing a tool everybody on Medicare is getting anyway. There are a number of really neat pieces that are out there that the government has put out that aren't being utilized. Look at this one as an example. From when I pulled this off the internet, it was already a number of years old, this particular presentation. Still pertinent, still accurate, because they don't go into some specifics and different details. It's fairly short, 3.5 minutes. But since 2015 until this time period, we now have what, about 63 million people on Medicare? Yeah, less than 1 million people that have seen this. And it is a really good presentation. People aren't using it. You can use it as part of the information you make available to your prospects and clients by providing the link. Hey, take a peek at this. This is going to open up ideas as to different options that you have. Be then prepared for questions that come about, but it can create a grand opportunity to look at a discussion that may well go beyond that base coverage that we talked about. Remember that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth slide, whatever it was, fourth slide, that speaks to the ancillary benefits? Oh, gee, I'm of the type of personality that says my money tends to be green no matter where it comes from. How then can I come about adding to the value I'm giving my prospects and clients and still add to the revenue stream of my agency? Opening that discussion is the difference that you can make there. And as I was alluding to just a moment ago, how am I going to deliver that information? We're talking to folks that are adept at accessing the internet, and keep in mind, Facebook is a haven for the blue hair community, or in my case, the graybeard community. They'll take the information virtually. Sometimes it may require an in-person close or vice versa. It may be a situation where our initial visit is in person and they've made a decision to enroll, and we can utilize some of the virtual tools to consummate that relationship, in a manner of speaking. It gives us then a way of delivering the information you need in a compliant fashion, creating questions, answering and addressing those questions, and working through the process of making that prospect your client or your client you currently have, maintain a base coverage, and add to additional resources they need for, well, their own circumstance. What have you identified as a shortfall in their different coverages? Folks are increasingly adept at the internet, and a lot of it, well, gee, if you think about it, over the last couple, 2-3 years, there was over a year where a whole bunch of the visits to the doctor were all done virtually. I had one physician I created a relationship with that I didn't see for the first 9 appointments face to face live. It was all virtually. And what that's done for many people that are on Medicare is created a new perception as to how they can receive information. This gives us the opportunity to deliver that information in the manner in which they're most comfortable. You know, some folks who are still, I don't want people in my house, whatever it happens to be. You can deliver that information, do it all virtually, and then make certain that you are accommodating their needs. I mean, their doctors are training them, their specialists are training them, dentists are doing some things preliminarily that help, hospitals the same way. Folks are accessing a celebration of their faith online. They're prepared for this possibility, and it gives us then the opportunity to once again extend it beyond the individual. You know, oh boy, you're accessing, you're celebrating your faith online. We do online presentations that help people understand the different options that they have for Medicare coverage. Or we speak to folks that are having some challenges with the cost of their medications and deliver a extra help, low income subsidy presentation, Medicare savings programs. Or, gee, there's a whole bunch of folks that are in a similar situation as you are, and they're dealing with long-term care situations for their parents or their spouse. They may need that coverage. Can we deliver that type of presentation? So it goes beyond the base medical coverages for folks that are in the Medicare market and gives us an avenue to present multiple topics virtually to individuals and to groups. So as we speak of the best way to meet qualified prospects, I'm going to linger on this slide for just a moment so you can print it off and make certain that we can reduce the cost of your pest control situation. It, however, gives us the idea of the whole meaning of how do we start with stuff? Well, we got to prospect. We got to get in front of individuals. That's a shocking revelation, John. Well, there are different ways of doing so, and different folks will respond to different ways of outreach. So as we talked about the different portfolio products that are available, the different associations that people have, how they access care, how they celebrate their faith, how they are in a social situation, are we able then to deliver upon that flavor of ice cream and get in front of the folks and make them viable prospects for the programs we have as part of our portfolio or our referable portfolio with the relationships we have with others in the community. You look at it, statistics, there's a ton of them we can throw at you. The close rates for referrals run at a rate of 72 to 94%, according to this documentation. And the prospects that come into your business through a referral are 2.5 times more likely to give you referrals. So it's a snowball rolling downhill. Can make a huge difference. These referrals are the most cost-effective method of building a business. Because are you paying for them? I please hope not in certain circumstances where you got regulations as to this. It gives us then the opportunity to deliver upon value and folks being grateful. How can I, gee, thank you so much. Is there anything I can do to help you? Yeah, you can tell people about me. Build that, and it's a great way to get compensated in a fashion that is a little different than just a straight commission. Some additional statistics. Well, 8 out of 10 consumers, more than 8 out of 10, 82%, they trust referrals from people they know, according to a Nielsen study. And it is a higher percentage of than the folks that are accessing branded websites, brand sponsorships, or emails they may have signed up for. A great way of accessing people with the highest consummation rate. We're going to put it that way. And people are 4 times more likely to buy a product or service when referred to by a friend, according to Nielsen surveys. So as we go through our sales presentations, we'll talk about when do you ask in just a moment. Well, that source helps you close the people you visit with as well, because those conversions are almost 4 times greater than the average for other marketing channels. You got a bigger kill it today, eat it tonight type of situation, as an old sales manager of mine in Prudential clear back in the day used to mention. And according to this, not only do referred customers have higher margins than non-referred ones, they also tend to be more loyal and have greater customer lifetime value. Let's face it, we don't have a salary. We're working on maintaining our book of business. We want to grow and make certain that that persistency, that retention is as high as possible. And this is an avenue that of clients that are in that category. They're more loyal and more referable as well. So this really can make a huge difference because, well, most of clients are willing to make a referral, 8 out of 10 according to a Texas Tech University study, but only 29% do. And that difference comes from how you're asking or how you're soliciting those referrals. So we need to make certain that we are comfortable with understanding the importance of building a referral-based business as part of our normal way of day-to-day operations, and we ask each and every time. That's the big thing. It's like an exercise program that if you do it every now and then, we may be uncomfortable with that particular exercise. And we go, oh, gee, I don't like to do that. It makes me uncomfortable. And we quit doing it. That's like exercising once, getting cramps and feeling the pain and not seeing some of the results. We got to be consistent in it. And part of that is by being referable. We are knowledgeable on the different topics that are out there, and we are then a trusted resource for options for our clients and our prospects that are going to reveal other people that can use our help. Plain and simple. We don't ask just the people that are buying. We're asking everyone that visits with us because, well, maybe the options that we have available aren't best for that individual, but they know other folks that, gee, this might just be the cat's meow for them. I'm pulling out every old analogy that I can think of there, evidently. Part of it is they don't know how to help you sometimes. So how can you help them identify prospects that you can help? Well, you're going to prospect a little bit. And one of the simple ways of doing it is there is a referral technique that I learned many, many years ago of an individual that once they have made a sale, or if they didn't during an appointment, they would say, hey, you know, I want to be there for you when you need me. So would you go get your address book and let's put my name and contact information in there. So if you lose my business card or whatever it happens to be, you have a way of contacting me. They bring the address book out, they do so. And it's like, you know, one of the things that I do is help other people that are in situations that are similar to you. You got your address book out there. Who in that book could I help? A great way of just, gee, I can then go to, here's people that can be a valuable resource for you as well. Because of some of the regulations, we got to handle how we approach them a bit differently. But you can then help your clients and your prospects identify people. Because in many cases, they want to, but they can't think of anybody off the top of their head who can be a prospect because they don't know. Here's a way of defining that very specifically. And so who do you ask? Well, for folks that have been in the business a while and have a book of business, they can go to their customer database, the CRM within Medicare Center, perhaps, that give you that year-over-year opportunity to do reviews and speak to the people that you've already done business with. They bought from you. You're looking to make certain they stay with you. So you're reaching out to them and you're doing the reviews, or you're accessing them with a periodic, a new presentation throughout the year. Who else do you know? It just opens up a door for you to visit. And these are people that they've done business with you already. They are more likely to give you a referral. There are also, of course, the folks that don't buy from you, prospects that perhaps aren't in the situation that allow you to do what you do with a particular product. So if you work in conjunction with a carrier in the Medicare Advantage or prescription drug world, and they are lending assistance in your marketing, prospects there. Well, that might be someone that that carrier doesn't have the network we need, or I'm quite happy with my plan. I wanted to make certain that I still was making the best choice. It gives you then an opportunity to speak to, well, who else do you know that may not have that same relationship? Or who else do you know that perhaps their doctor's retired? How'd they select a new physician? That opens up a couple of different referable situations where not only the patients, but also the new physician or new provider of care, wherever it happens to be. There are also, of course, the folks within our own nuclear situation, our own nuclear family that may need our help, don't know how to ask us for it, or are perhaps looking for some statistical information that can help them with choices. And they want to do business with us as a family member. They don't know quite how to do it. Are you asking them? And then that opens up the whole situation like any other type of prospect or client saying, hey, who else do you know? I think one of the biggest shortfalls we have with many people that are doing a referral program for individuals on a consistent basis, they may be ignoring those community contacts of the prospects and clients with whom we visit. Oh, you're going to this church. Do they have a senior group? Are they doing this? Are they doing this? It gives an opportunity then to reach into centers of influence in the community. Same thing with providers, doctors, dentists, those sorts of individuals, where we're looking then also at groups that give us an opportunity for group presentations and accessing those centers of influence within the community that give you an opportunity to deliver a presentation, not just to individuals, but to groups. A great way of growing some things exponentially in that circumstance. So when do you ask? Well, one of the things that really worked for me in the past is in the initial visit that we had with an individual to set up the appointment. As we lay out a day and a time, it's like, well, do you know of other people that can benefit from the information that we're going to discuss that you're comfortable having in that appointment? And if you're doing a face-to-face or setting up a Zoom call with multiple individuals, it takes us then from a single prospect to something that may well go beyond a couple or whatever. A neighborhood type of thing comes into play, or these are some folks from my church that need the help. We'll visit, they'll be in the house. It gives us an opportunity then to ask for it up front and take that single lead and grow it. I had a wonderful presentation some time ago where I visited with a lady, asked that question, and she says, "Yeah, I think I know a few folks that can help that need your help." I walked to the apartment that she lives in as a widowed woman, and I go in there, and there were 7 other people waiting with pads and pens and ready to ask questions. And out of 8 people, I got 6 apps. She had 2 other people that couldn't be there at that time that needed my help that she said, well, they're going to call you. We're going to watch that do not call thing and set up an appointment. I closed one of the two in that circumstance. But out of that whole situation, also got 16 referrals. Why do I know these numbers? Because I'm proud of them. How do I remember them? Because I'm proud of them. It's a great way of setting some things up ahead of time. And it also reminds us that, hey, I'll throw in a cartoon here of Pepe Le Pew and Penelope, and you don't get kissed if you don't ask. And the opportunity to receive that sort of, finger quotes working here, affection is sometimes you ask more than once. And doing so throughout the course of your presentation can make a big difference. And a lot of that is, boy, it's set up by the questions you got to ask on an application. Who's your primary care physician? Boom, boom, Dr. John Smith. Wow, do you know other folks that use Dr. Smith? There are some very simple lead-ins. They're lobbing up a softball at you in certain circumstances that are part of your overall presentation that gives you the opportunity to visit with additional people. It also gives you that opportunity that as you close the sale, well, who else do you know that can really benefit from the programs that we offer? And sometimes, Mr. or Mrs. New Client, you may not know if they benefit or not. But if they're in a similar situation, I'm going to deliver the information much as I have with you on a professional basis, and we're going to roll out and make certain that we're able to help them, if by no other means, by delivering information that can help them. And it's also that same situation when you miss a sale. It's not right for them. They may know other people they feel that the program is correct in doing. And then there's that whole lovely, as you're leaving the appointment, Columbo close. I'm really dating myself there, but Peter Falk as Columbo, he gets to the door in that rumpled old raincoat and goes, "Hey, one last thing." It's a great way to add on product, but it's also a great way of saying, one of the things we didn't talk about are how you are covering your dental expenses. I can help you with information there too, but a lot of people are in that similar situation. You want to set up another meeting with other folks that can help, that I can help with that as well. So you have another group presentation in that fashion. It's important then to make certain that we know how to counter referral resistance. And what is that? Well, sometimes folks, I don't want to sick a salesman on one of my friends or my associates. How you deliver the information primarily to the folks that you're already visiting with, that can make a huge difference because they're comfortable with the way you delivered the details they needed, and they know that you're going to deliver it in the same fashion to people that they're telling you about. So very important also to let them know that, hey, this is how I handle referrals. This is how I contact them. And they're going to be handled in the same professional manner in which you are. And you make certain that you express their gratitude as well. And after you meet with that individual, you follow up with the referrer if you sell them or not. Let them know what's going on. Well, revealing a whole bunch of personal information, it gives you then that opportunity to have that individual realize that you took care of the people. You actually followed up. You delivered upon what you promised when they gave you a referral. So there are other things we can do to strengthen the referral. We plan for it. We'll talk about that in detail in a moment, and we'll see how that can affect our business metrics. We did a presentation last week on AEP planning for AEP coming up and how it affects our year-round business. This is a key component in those metrics that we use to reach our goals. It also gives us an opportunity to highlight a particular area. So if we're in there and discussing long-term care and we realize that an area of great need, an area that folks are very, very aware of, because mom had to go into a nursing home. My wife had a stroke. We needed, whatever reason, it gives us then a way of identifying folks for our key product as well. And the world's changed a lot since the days of the hammer and chisel. You have a whole bunch of ways of doing some things electronically as well, through websites, social media platforms, working through a social media strategy that can make you referable in that fashion as well to the greater population. There are agents out there now that are virtual in everything. These folks have an opportunity to expand their propinquity. They can reach people in multiple states if they needed to, all done electronically, all done according to how you're licensed and certified and appointed and all that lovely detail. But it's a great way to spread your wings and visit with people that you may not have in the past. We got to be careful about how we approach some of these people. If they are reaching out to us, obviously, then we can follow up and take care of them, but we have to abide by the do not call regulations. And we realize that there are sections of the Medicare world that are very heavily regulated. And, well, we might have really got to make certain that we are following the rules, because it can endanger part of our livelihood. So we're familiar with the do not call registry. We are comfortable with any list that we're using for cold calls for different products that allow that, that's butted up against this. So we protect ourselves. And that is not a one-time butt up. You got to do it on a regular basis to make certain that the status hasn't changed. The do not call website really gives us details on that. And gee, if you're getting 19 robocalls within 20 minutes on your own phone, it might help you there too. A really cool technique that some agents will use with great proficiency is having the client or the prospect call the folks that are being referred to you to warm them up. Hey, I just did business with Agent John Smith. Great guy. He's going to help you with information if you choose to do so, and really make it work for you, where you have a resource that I trust that can deliver upon the information you need to make a choice. And oh, by the way, he's still here. You can talk to him right now and set up an appointment. They can hand you the phone. Boom, there you go. You're compliant. A great way of filling a calendar as part of, I got to replace that prospect I just sold. Great way to do it. And we do so by utilizing our full portfolio of products. So even if we're not presenting everything on that initial visit, which, gee, that could go weeks. And if we're looking to concentrate on a particular product during a particular time period, we're going to stick with MA, PDP, and MedSups during the annual election period. You can set it up down the road, not just for going back and visiting with that individual, but much as I mentioned with the whole Colombo approach, well, let's visit about dental. Talk to some of your friends. Let's set up a meeting. I'll bring the donuts, you supply the coffee, whatever it happens to be. And then it gives you an opportunity to utilize whatever that hot button might be for that individual. It is something that needs to be part of a regular routine. You set your mind to referrals as part of your personal marketing plan. You set yourself a goal for referrals as part of your selling prospect. How many referrals am I going to get per appointment? How many referrals am I going to get in a day, a week, a month? And that then reminds us, I got to ask. I got to pursue this. And I need to do this in a fashion where I'm not Herb Tarlick from WKRP. Boy, I'm dating myself once again. In a lovely plaid coat, opens it up and says, hey, you want to buy a watch? You don't have to be that way. You're delivering things of value, and people will want to speak to you in that fashion. And it's important to remember, hey, they didn't buy from me, but I'm going to ask anyway, because they may know other people that I can help. So we need to be prepared to deliver upon what we are proposing. We got to be able to cash the check that we're writing in those circumstances. Anybody write checks anymore? Not very often. So that gives us different things that we can use to prepare for the different programs that are out there. And this can be particularly useful when we're speaking to groups, taking it beyond the individuals. Let's go forth and multiply in that particular area by asking questions based on what we know. This is something I learned recently, or these are programs that I'm finding a lot of people are asking about, particularly when we're mid-year. People, well, you look at the median income of the Medicare beneficiaries, under 27 grand right about there. Many of them need help with the cost of their medications or their medical expenses, and knowing some of the things that can help address those issues can make a huge difference. So all that said and done, why do you want to do it with Premier Marketing? Well, we make it easy for you to add portfolio to your offerings, and this opens up the door for other sales opportunities. setting everything up electronically. You put your information in here. It's a great way to set up an agent profile. And then as you determine these folks need that help, gee, I'm doing an evaluation. I don't have this particular carrier. I need it. How can you do it quickly? Now, if you're talking Medicare Advantage PDP programs, a little longer process because you got to do the certs and some of the other things that come into play. Don't deny yourself an opportunity because it's just another cert. I know it's a whipping, but it's a great way to learn as well. And it's a way then to open up other sales opportunities. We do offer discounted errors and admissions coverage for qualified agents. What makes you a qualified agent? You got to contract with us. This then gives you an opportunity to purchase an E&O program that you own. It's not like being added to a blanket policy for one program and you got to wonder how you can protect yourself across the board and satisfy the requirements of the insurance companies with whom you're contracting. You own it. It'll cover you whomever you contract through. Different rates on different circumstances, very affordable. We all need to have it. Great way for you to take care of that responsibility. We do also offer discounting continuing education programs through our association with WebCE to make certain that your license stays in play. We also give you an opportunity to add to your own benefit structure, buy a modified guarantee issue disability income plan in which you are paid a commission on writing business on yourself. Much as where today's presentation is being recorded, past presentations have been as well. So it gives you an opportunity to brush up on, how do I approach providers? How do you deal with faith-based organizations? I need to know more about a fixed annuity. I need to know more about this carrier. The past presentations we've done that are recorded are available, as I mentioned, at the opener on our website and on our YouTube channel that you can access 24/7 and be prepared and be referable to the folks you visit with. I cannot overestimate or overemphasize the use of Medicare Center. It's hard for me to say this word, but it's free to contracted agents. It gives you access through a single universal login to multiple quoting engines, 3 of them powered by Connecture, Sunfire, CSG, that give you the opportunity to quote different programs that are out there, give out side-by-side plan comparisons compliantly, all while having collected those scopes of appointment and are storing there compliantly as well, because remember, you need to do that if you sell or not. It has that CRM in there that you can use and ways of accessing other resources to be more effective, call scripts, those sorts of things that are out there. We do also have a page on our website to make certain that you're getting full compensation for what you're selling. Different programs do have different carrier incentives, no MA or PDP because the max set by the government, yada, yada. But MedSups have them, dental has them, final expense has them, different programs that are out there that may help you qualify for carrier trips and different incentive programs that we offer as well, such as mail support, other things that come into play. Some of the lead programs we offer is that custom list for you to smile and dial, discounted rate, or perhaps even better than that based on contracting circumstances, a way of accessing those centers of influence in the community, programs that are out there to help you walk right through it, a way of utilizing our contacts within the carrier world to get additional prospects. This is a kind of a quid pro quo situation where you scratch their back, they're scratching yours. But as you sell for MA and PDP carriers, they recognize your value and may well help you out in that circumstance. We do also have internet leads that through social media, we'll talk about in a second. That direct mail support I referenced earlier, a T65 located. Talk about that in a moment. And then, of course, utilizing these referral programs to maximize your lead flow. The direct mail piece, and I realize we're at the top of the hour, I'm almost finished, hang with me. The direct mail is a program available to you that deeply discounts the cost of mail programs based on production. 2 ways of accessing it. You can do it both ways. There's one program for health programs, another for final expense, and you can utilize both and perhaps even set yourself up for 2,000 pieces of mail at reduced prices, greatly reduced prices in certain circumstances that can do that consistently for you. Because much like asking for referrals, direct mail, yeah, rates are down a little bit, return rates, but doing it consistently, that's the value of this exercise program. You get the value and don't feel just the pain. We do so through preferred lead vendors. We vet them to make certain that they have the systems to deliver the leads to you quickly, as hot as possible, and that the correspondence that goes out is compliant to use. We want to protect you in that circumstance. And there are also programs for individuals that, hey, I don't want to do a whole mail campaign by myself, but I want to fill some holes in my calendar. One of our platform partners can help us deliver upon never distributed direct mail responses. That can vary in cost by product type, by time of year, by area in which you live. This is as high a cost as I've seen these programs, but it's a great way to plug holes in your calendar and make certain that you can reach out to people that are raising their hand with an expression of need in different areas. Internet leads, as I mentioned, are off Facebook. There's a program for Final Expense and for Medicare as well. These are microwave leads. Internet leads are plain and simple. You do your own campaign, or if you're purchasing it, the whole you build it, they will come thing. Well, that is a field of dreams. We need to make certain that if someone is responding on our internet leads, we respond very, very quickly, because boom, you can get a result, but they may be talking to multiple people through that same channel as well. That T65 locator I mentioned, it is a program for folks that are contracted with us or our partners that you download on a phone, register, they check and make certain that you have a contract with us. It pulls it up, and then by the parameters that you're laying into the program, it identifies where people live. So if you're one of those folks that don't mind having calluses on the knuckles and you'll go rap a door, when you can do that, remember you can't for MA and PDP, a great way if, boy, someone stood me up, who in this area can I talk to? You can look at this. You can also use, of course, that smartphone to make certain that, hey, there's a senior center right here, or boy, I know a doc's right here. A great way for you to make certain that your time is well spent. Cannot, once again, overemphasize the value of reaching out to your current book of business to get referrals, but it also then creates that opportunity of maintaining your current book of business as well. We do all this because, hey, we want your business. We want to be referable for you. We're asking you, hey, refer us to some of your friends in the business that may not be doing business with us, or hey, you don't know if they are or not. But I've got a great person I work with over at Premier. I think he or she can really be of help to you. And there's this dude that does these webinars on a regular basis that can deliver some information that can help us. Check it out. A great way of making certain that we are rendering value to you and be a resource that you can utilize across the board as well. But hey, refer your agent friends to us as well. Nice thing about this is you don't have to wait. The egg is laid. It's hatching right away. You don't have to sit on it and incubate it and whatever else. It's just putting in our mind that we are mapping out a plan for referrals as part of our personal marketing program, and we're putting it in play. And as John Wayne said in the movie The Cowboys, celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, I am old. Slap a piece of bacon in that biscuit, saddle up, let's ride, because we're burning daylight. Time slips by. Don't wait. Put it as part of your overall program. And I don't care what type of insurance you're marketing. This referral process will make you money. It's just a question of, are you utilizing a system that, man, that's so simple it can't work? Yeah, it does. Make certain that you're putting it into your program, drive down some acquisition costs, pump up the return on your investment on a lead that you purchased simply because, hey, I didn't even sell that person, but I got 3 referrals out of it and I sold 2 of them. Boy, does that affect your return? Yep. So all that said and done, let me check really quickly to make certain that we have answered questions, if there are any. I am awfully caffeinated, I guess, because there aren't any questions and I've spoken to some of the different pieces that are out there. I want to thank you folks that are on the line that have worked with Premier in the past. I thank you for that business. I look forward to an opportunity for us to work to grow it together as well. For those of you that are on the line and haven't done business with us or are considering, thank you for that opportunity. But for everyone that's listened to this presentation, I thank you for spending a portion of your most valuable resource, your time, with us here today. No mind-blowing revelations maybe in today's presentation, some nice reminders on things, new ways of looking at different situations perhaps. We hope that we've delivered value to you as well today. So all that said and done, until we're able to visit again, I wish you good selling. Talk to folks about us. We look forward to visiting with you in the very near future. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.